A long time ago.
How long ago?
I don't remember, actually. EA made a game called Dante's Inferno.
Oh, such a good game. Such a good game. Good story.
But if we're actually talking about literature here in Dante's Inferno, and we really want a game that is all about the exploration of hell, I'm going to have to hand it over to Hellblade.
Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice.
This game originally came out on PS4 and on PC, and just got ported over to the Xbox, once again proving that all exclusive games are all just timed and probably
Third party. All
pointless.
third party exclusives are timed.
Yeah, it's just timed. Forget about it. But so I played this on PC, actually, even though because it was just good timing. And this game is sort of like a mental exploration of hell.
So it's like you exposing how crazy you really are?
It's like you play as Senua, and she is a character who has these mental illnesses, but she's from a time where nobody would really understand what those were. So she's just lived a bit of a tortured life.
She was probably bullied a lot.
Well, yeah, she was just kind of kept in the house at all times, and many people thought she was cursed because of how she acts, so she was blamed for a lot of things. And she just finally gets this resolution, first to become a fighter, and then after a while resolves that she has to go to hell to save the soul of a loved one. And throughout the entire game, you have this binaural sound. You know, they highly, highly recommend you wear headphones so that you can hear the sound binaurally, and you have these voices talking to you and judging every single thing you do. Like you got the commentary turned on. There's people talking to the left and to the right saying, "What's she doing? Why is she opening that? This is the right way to go." No, it's not the right way to go. Is this the right way to go? Yeah. Like, it would have been an okay game if it weren't for that element. And on top of that, it was monitored by medical care professionals who knew about these cases. And it also has extremely accurate recountings of Norse mythology, essentially. It tells you about all these Norse stories.
Oh, so it's like God of War.
Yeah, except you just walk up to stones, and they just tell you the stories there. And, like, you can hear all these stories, and they semi-relate to what you're doing. It's kind of like a metaphorical thing. But what you do is, you just basically... She wants to travel to the Norse Helheim in this one. And it's not necessarily like another dimension. It's a location on Earth that she has to make her way to. But she has to travel through a very dangerous place to get there. Like, just getting to the gate alone, you have to stop. And you have to go back and fight certain guardians of the gate. Then once you get through the gate, there's still, like, things you have to get through there. And you constantly have these things happen where they're all just metaphorical for her life. One of the bosses you have to fight, you have to, like, constantly burn things and then run to the next checkpoint. And in another, you have to, like, line up these... Well, you have to line up these runes in almost every section. That's one of the core gameplay mechanics besides fighting demons. It's weird. You just walk around the environment and look for runes by looking at, like, just pieces of trees and stuff like that. Stuff that lines up with the rune you want. And then, ding, that's it. That unlocked a gate for you. And it doesn't really make sense, but it makes sense to her. And that's all that's important.
Word.
So you continue on. And it's like you are constantly seeing that these torments that she's going through in all these planes of hell are, like, related to her feelings and, like, her past life. You carry around for a while in this first section, then a new voice joins you, and it's sort of like the voice of Hela herself. It's this big, deep, booming voice that's absolutely telling you how terrible you are and how you should turn back and how you ruined everyone's life. Kind of like that. It is.
So, like, this game is really diving into those areas of mental health where it's just a lot of self-depreciation.
Yes, I would say so. you get through all these challenges, these physical challenges, these things, and then there's just like a bit later on where you just go through 4 trials to unlock a sword that can kill gods. And it's like there was a really long section that I didn't fight anyone, but there was one where it was completely pitch black and I had to find my way through the dark by listening to sounds. And so, like, I would turn left and right, and as I heard the sound get louder, I knew I would facing the right direction. I'd walk that way, and then there'd be monsters in that area, but they would only see me if I would, like, walked fast. And all I had to do was just walk slow, right past them. You could just barely see them. Very well done. Because they're,
Wow.
like, these disgusting abominations, but you can only just kind of see them.
So did you have a chance? Like, was it something where you stood a chance if you had to fight them, or
No,
like
no,
immediate
you would
death?
die.
Okay.
You didn't have your sword at all
Word.
in some of these sections. So you go through and just like you get through this story of hell, and you know you just do terrible things to yourself, all to get to the end of the game. And the way it ends and everything, it's good but confusing because the cutscenes, the way they play out occasionally, she'll turn around and start talking to you, but you are someone else. Like you're either her father or her mother or other characters who have spoken to her. And then she'll go back and continue traveling. And then the very end of the game, I'm not going to spoil it, but it just changes the perspective of the game a little bit. And then makes you wonder what actually happened and what that journey meant for her. But it was, whether it was real or not, because you're not sure, but whether it was real or not, this journey through hell was real to her.
And that's what matters.
Yes, and that's why I felt like this is so analogous to the book Dante's Inferno, a sort of exploration of your personal demons while traveling to what would actually be the hell of her time. Hell of a time.
Hell of a time.
And there I go, just ruining the tone by making an unintentional joke. Now I'm going to call this video One Hell of a Time.
One hell of a time. No, I mean, that was one of the reasons that I loved Dante's Inferno when it came out for PS3 was because that was my first experience with that story. And from playing that game, I ended up going more into the story and learning a little bit more about it. And it was, in my opinion, like the story wasn't so much about like the events that actually took place. For anyone who hasn't read it, I don't want to be that guy who spoils it because I feel like book spoilers are not okay ever. But the story is not so much about the events that take place. It's more about how the person who's going through these events feels about it. And it sounds like Hellblade has that similar situation where it's not so much about the story and the adventure you go on. It sounds like it's like an adventure that could have been written for anything. It's more about how is your main character, how is the person you're playing as dealing with this adventure?
Yeah. So I'm going to go past the ending now and tell you this about dealing with that trauma and dealing with that kind of thing. So once you beat the game recommends that you go to a website to get mental health screenings or like even a suicide hotline. It tells you, listen, if you feel like you were affected by the events of this game, go to like Hellblade.info, I believe. Hellblade help.info. I'll post it on the screen here. And then it has a suicide hotline. And then it has all these screening tests to have you test for things including depression tests, anxiety tests, psychosis like she experiences in the game, tests for eating disorders, like all sorts of just demons people face. And it's like, listen, take these tests, and if you feel like you need the help, you get it. And that, I felt like, that didn't undercut the game at all. That made it kind of bigger because I did feel some of those things, you know. I don't like to get too personal, but yeah, after that, I was pretty inclined to take a couple of the tests and just see, all right, because sometimes the things you dealt with, you do feel that way. So you get this, and it kind of steers you towards getting help, which is what she does in the end. She is steering herself towards help as you finish it.
Okay. Do you think that they designed this game more as a test for mental health conditions
Possibly.
than a game.
Possibly.
Like playing through this game, like everything you experience in the game is some sort of psychological test, and based on how you feel about what happens, determines where you fall on whatever spectrum.
Oh yeah, the game is very unconventional. There's no HUD, which is great. You rely entirely on visual cues to know what you should be doing. Well, I mean, there's kind of a heads up when the rune stuff happens, but you need that to see if you're lining up a rune.
Yeah.
But besides that, there's like no health bar,
Very
there's
minimal.
no stamina bar. You just there's when you're in the fighting stuff, it doesn't tell you how to control the game. You just figure out or you check the controls before you play, and you know what the attack buttons are. But you just walk in, and then you eventually learn through the voices shouting at you how to get a slow-mo ability activated, like a thing will flash on your sachet, and then you can start fighting people in slow motion, but you're like moving regular speed. So like even those power-ups and just everything's built in, those voices will help you with them. Like if an enemy's attacking you, they'll say watch out or behind you.
Wow.
Don't let them get behind you, don't let them flank you, stuff like that.
Are the
The
voices
game
ever
is
lying when that happens?
sometimes.
Wow. This is deep. This is very deep.
Yes. Yeah, sometimes they are lying.
This is deep. Oh man. So like, what are do you, I guess for some final thoughts, like, do you want to see more of this?
Yes, actually. I mean, this game really took big issues and like just contained them in a game that sort of really exceeds the medium. This goes past gaming. This is, like I said, I would call it an important milestone of the gaming community. Not just gaming, and not just gaming as art, but art itself as an expression of emotion. This is one way to really express, it's sort of like the hell people go through. What the hell?
It's one hell of a time.
It's one hell of a time.
So the game's been out for a little bit over a year.
Just came out on Xbox.
Just came out on Xbox, that's right. You obviously recommend people play it.
It's not for everyone, I'll say that. I had like a colleague who played it who didn't like it. He said it was too much of a walking sim, and I'm like, it's really not. Like, there's enough combat to make it not that. But you can also set the game to easy if the combat's too hard.
Word. So the combat can get challenging.
Oh, it was very challenging. I died quite a few times. It's set to an automatic difficulty, and if you go all the way back, like I think it's been almost a year now, if you go all the way back, there was a controversy when it came out in the fact that it may or may not delete your save if you die too much, but no one's ever been sure if it really does that or not. Like, some people say yes it does, other people say no it doesn't. But
So it's one of those kind of like floating theories of crazy.
yeah, but it sparked a controversy at the time, and that message that you will lose your save, it implied, is still there. But that's neither here nor there. It's a bottom line is this game, it's not a regular game. It's just an experience that is a game that if you think you can see yourself playing, do it. Watch the trailers. There's this one new trailer about it that has one of the poems from the game that you experience in about 1/3 of the way through. The Demon Hell recites a poem to you about your experience and the experience you will have. Everyone kind of knows what's going to happen to you at the end of the game. You know that you will die.
That's intense.
It is very. So just look it up, and yeah, if you've got those, it should just take it up. And once you finish the game, if you want to go forward with the rest of it, take those tests, see what you can do to help yourself, and stay healthy.
Stay healthy. Yeah, that's a lot to take in. I mean, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you think of Hellblade if you had a chance to play it, and let us know in the comments below if you think we need more experiences like this, things that touch on real life scenarios. I mean, A game like Hellblade, a game like Spec Ops: The Line, like things like
Ooh,
this
yes.
come along very rarely, and I feel like when they come along, the appreciation is unanimous. So it becomes a question as to why don't we see this more often?
Leave the comment as we said, and talk to us soon.
All right, hard mode out.
Goodbye.